Hello. I mentioned recently that I wanted to branch out into exonumia, and here we are. That was based partially on an article I read in a PCGS market report about cathedral tokens, and partially on this article, which is called All In on Numismatics by Eva Pate, who is a young budding numismatist. She's 20 years old, seems to have a bright future, and she mentions a special interest in Conder tokens, which sent me down kind of a rabbit hole. So if you don't know, just like I didn't know, Conder tokens, technically known as provincial tokens, were privately minted in the UK in especially the late 1700s and early 1800s. Around this time, there was a real shortage of small denomination currency there, and the Royal Mint wasn't producing any. They were producing very low coinage overall, but what they were producing was silver, gold, larger denomination. So people had no small denominations for minor purchases, such as a grocery item or a mug of beer or whatever. To the point where employers were doing group salaries where they would say take 3 employees and hand them a silver or gold coin and say, this is you guys' salary for the week or the month. You guys figure it out, divide it among yourselves. And then they couldn't figure it out because there was no small change to be had. So a lot of private entities, employers, companies started minting small denomination copper tokens for use in these minor transactions. And this coincided with the discovery of a major copper vein in Wales. So it kind of worked out, and the Royal Mint was cool with it, and the UK government was cool with it. So a lot of these tokens, because they were privately minted, they were kind of wilding out as far as what they would put on the obverses and reverses, and some of them got kind of critical of the king because, again, these were born out of frustration with the government. They were frustrated that the government was not producing minor currency, and the critical ones drew the ire of the crown. It also coincided with a new anti-counterfeiting method of printing text on the edge. So it sparked an interest, and coincidentally, last time I went into a coin shop, I saw a Conder token from 1791. Let's zoom in on this guy. So info on this particular one is really scarce. Other than the fact that it exists, I've seen several copies for sale online and some basic descriptions, but not a real deep dive on what this is, and I still have some research to do. It's a 1791 Edinburgh halfpenny. I'm not real clear on who minted it, but I do know that it was in use in what is now known as the UK as a halfpenny at that time. This is supposed to be St. Andrew carrying a cross, and the Latin inscription Nemo me impune licessit means no man will provoke me with impunity. Kind of a chest-thumping bravado thing. It reminds me of back in the South where I'm from, these ain't scared stickers that you would see everywhere on cars. So, in 1791 you had some fancy Latin. Cut to now in the South you got ain't scared, On the other side, Edinburgh halfpenny. In the shield, I at first thought it was a Roman numeral 3, but in better condition copies, there are 3 castle towers, 3 towers. And because of the low information I found so far on this, I don't know what those 3 towers represent, but I hope to find out. There's some books on Conder tokens that I'll be acquiring, and hopefully through that, or maybe meeting an expert at a coin show, I can find out what the symbolism is. So it's copper. I'm not even going to attempt to show you the rim or the edge engraving, but what I found so far is that most of these particular ones on the edge say payable in London, Bristol, and Lancaster, which are 3 towns in England. But under high magnification, this particular one says payable at the Wake House. Wake is W-A-K-E house, which sounds like the name of maybe a pub or a company or something. And there is no information online about that. So it leads me to believe that this could potentially be a counterfeit, and these were counterfeited. But the good news is that the counterfeits of these were contemporary to the time and are also collectible. So win either way. I really hope to find out more in the future. And when I talk about wondering where a coin has been, especially one that's 233 years old, this is what I'm talking about. Real or fake, this has seen some things. And for it to come all the way from the UK to a coin shop in Hawaii had to have been an interesting journey. Another recent cool find, a brilliant uncirculated 1944 Mercury dime. I've said before, the winged helmet Liberty, my favorite depiction of Liberty. And if I see a Mercury dime in this condition, of course I'm going to get it. Cool fact I learned recently from the Red Book, the winged helmet represents liberty of thought. As if I couldn't love this sculpture anymore. Alright, lastly, chit chat. I recently had a negative interaction with a coin shop owner. And I'm not here to bitch about it, but I am here to make an observation. I've noticed in this hobby that there is a sort of disparity in personality between the collectors and the dealers. Every coin collector I've ever talked to has been so cool. We love talking about stuff and geeking out over things that nobody else cares about. Have you ever tried talking coin collecting to somebody who's not into it and then watch their eyes glaze over in profound boredom? So when we get a chance to talk to each other, of course, it's great. But dealers, not all dealers, hashtag not all dealers, tend to be crotchety bastards. What's up with that? Have you guys had that experience? Anyway, this has gone on too long already. Tomorrow I'll have a video on a silver bar. Cheerio.